has graced our event today. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed audience and participants, a very good morning to all of you. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 5th edition of Sustainable Apparel Forum. Today's opening plenary promises to be a captivating event featuring influential figures from the apparel industry, policymakers, and government officials from both Bangladesh and around the globe. Today's event is not just an event, it is a commitment to fostering a greener, innovative future in apparel manufacturing. So before further ado, I would like to introduce you to our guest for the opening session. As the chief guest of the session, we have been graced by Mr. Salman F. Rahman MP, the Private Industry Investment Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister. We have with us His Excellency Charles Whitley, the Ambassador and the Head of Delegation of the European Union of Bangladesh. Mr. Mustafa Izzuddin, the founder and CEO, Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, BAE. We also have with us Tuomo Pochianen, the country director of the ILO Bangladesh. Mr. Warner Land, the coordinator, GIZ Textile Cluster Bangladesh, GIZ. Without further ado, I now request our honorable guest speakers to kindly please grace the podium. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request Mr. Muhammad Mustafa Izzuddin, the founder and the CEO of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, to kindly deliver his welcome speech. Mr. Mustafa Izzuddin.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome in Dhaka and good morning to you. My heartfelt gratitude to our today's honorable chief guest, Mr. Salman F. Rahman, MP, Private Industry and Investment Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, People Republic of Bangladesh, my good friend, Mr. Charles Whitley, Head of Delegation and Ambassador of European Union to Bangladesh, my another good friend, Mr. Tumo, the Country Director of ILO, and of course, Mr. Van Lange, also another good friend from GIZ. First of all, I would like to thank all of you to be here today. I know many of you had been travel from abroad, and in spite of your busy schedule, you had made the day. This is a clear commitment from all of you towards the sustainability vision Bangladesh have. Today, you all will have a very busy day. I will not prolong my talk. I just would like to remind all of you that it's a day-long event. We have 4 very interactive sessions, 1 breakout sessions, 2 presentations, 2 keynote speakers, And also don't forget, tomorrow we have Manufacturing Forum organized by SAC. I would like to especially thanks to ILO Better Work and GIZ. Without your support, we would not able to do this event. And all the team members from both organizations and BE who involved in this organizing the event. I would also like to thank especially my very good friend, Mr. Michael, Anis Bhai, and Niyaz Bhai to do this event. You may be aware that I was very sick last 3 months. In fact, today is the first time I came out of home from December. So usually all these events, I'm the one who used to do almost everything, A to Z, topics, speakers, selections, everything. But this is the very first time most of the work had done through ILO Better Work, through GIZ, and my team. So it's a different feelings for me. I feel the team is growing, and we always talk about collaboration and talk about partnership. It's a true example of collaboration and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know about BE is working for promoting sustainability, innovation, technology in Bangladesh apparel industry last 9 years. I would like to share one of the video of our journey. This year, it will be our remarkable 10 years. So let's see a video from our initiatives.
Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, the largest private apparel initiative in Bangladesh, promoting sustainable growth in Bangladesh's apparel industry. Let's take a look back at our journey of 9 years. Bangladesh Denim Expo, the first denim trade show, serving as a global denim network unlike any other. Sustainable Apparel Forum, a knowledge-sharing and networking platform, with the prime focus on facilitating green solutions and sustainable manufacturing. Denim Innovation Night, first ever denim-focused innovative fashion show, highlighting the capabilities of Bangladesh in innovative design. Bangladesh Fashionology Summit, the ultimate platform for discovery, networking, learning, providing the scope to learn about the cutting-edge developments in the apparel and textile industries. Bangladesh Circular Economy Summit, a platform that enables industries to apply circular economy principles and design circular solutions. Made in Bangladesh Week, one of the largest events focusing on the Bangladesh apparel industry. The week-long event focused on various aspects of our sustainable initiatives, through various events like Dhaka Apparel Summit, Dhaka Apparel Expo, Green Factory visits, and so on, continuously striving to contribute to society, raise industry awareness, and demonstrate our focus on sustainability, circularity, and transparency. Our events have garnered huge attention from all over the world, attracting 85,000 plus national and international participants from 50 plus countries, 650 plus delegates, and 2,000 plus companies until now. Looking ahead, we will continue extending our reach beyond borders to promote the capacity and capabilities of our RMG industry, as we have done for 9 years. For us, the journey of revolutionizing the apparel industry of Bangladesh has just started. Join us and be part of the exciting future that we build together.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, it's been 9 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it was always one of my dreams to do the event together and do a collaboration of you in this room. Last 10 years when I've been working to promoting Bangladesh, it was not like today's how it is. But I always had a dream that I always tell to the people, when our vision is same, our mission is same, our goal is same. If your goal is promoting sustainability, circularity, innovation, technology, worker well-being, and human rights due diligence, our vision also is the same thing. So here we have different stakeholder, brands, retailers, private sector, embassies, development partners. I will ask all of you, let's collaborate together, let's work together. Rather than doing multiple initiatives, multiple events, we join hand together, make a bigger event, make a bigger impact, and we can bring the desired change what we are looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a long day. We will today talk about circularity, climate action change, net zero, worker well-being, human rights due diligence, and resilience, a lot of things. We have a lot of international speakers, 42 speakers from home and abroad are here. Kindly put a big clap for them who had traveled far away from the different part of the world. Your travel clearly shows your commitment and love towards Bangladesh. We are very much thankful for that. The last thing I would like to say, branding Bangladesh is one of the important elements. We all know about it. Bangladesh had come far away. We are aware about the progress. We are about the changes we made, but still the story is very much untold in all over the world. Bangladesh Apparel Exchange had launched their last September, an initiative, first time ever, after working 9 years, we had taken an initiative to do an event in abroad. We had done also Made in Bangladesh Week in collaboration with BGMEA. We had done this initiative. And after that, last September, we had done an event in Amsterdam. I would like to show you that video and conclude my speech. And this year also, we have several initiatives. We have June Sustainable Circular Economy Summit. We have Climate Action Forum. And we also have a brand new initiative on technology, because we all aware about the changes we need to achieve this circularity, sustainability, net zero, climate action change. We always need technology. So Bangladesh Apparel Exchange will start a new initiative focusing on technology this year, October. And this year, same time, same place in Amsterdam, September, we will do our second best of Bangladesh. I would like to conclude my speech by giving thanks to all of you, and please see the video, and if possible, join in Amsterdam. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you to JIJ, thank you to ILO, Anis Bhai, Michael, Niaz Bhai. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome to the best of Bangladesh.
In Europe.
I have many more things to offer to this industry and my country, Bangladesh.
The Netherlands is honored to have been a long-standing partner of Bangladesh.
Rest of Bangladesh is not an event, it's a process.
Please see Bangladesh, come to Bangladesh, invest in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh has emerged as the fastest growing economy in the world.
It's a great initiative. It's very good organized, great location, so that also gives a good atmosphere. So well done.
I see a number of people, new faces, which is quite interesting for us as an exhibitor to connect the dots.
Being at this event really makes me feel part of Bangladesh.
Thank you, Muhammad Mustafizuddin, for your welcome address. Now, I would like to request our guest, Tuomo Pochiani, the country director of the ILO Bangladesh, to deliver his speech. Mr. Tuomo Pochianen.
Thank you, and thank you particularly to Mr. Mostafiz Udin, the founder and the CEO of the Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. Really impressive. When I always get this kind of invitation to these events, I know that there's going to be a lot of energy from the very start, from the very beginning of the day, and this is truly also for today. So thank you for that elevation and that energy that you just brought in to these proceedings. First, I want to, of course, recognize the honorable members of the opening ceremony, the chief guest, Mr. Salman F. Rahman, Member of Parliament and the Private Industry and Investment Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, our special guest, Charles Whitley, Ambassador and Head of Delegation for the European Union, and my good friend and colleague, Mr. Werner Lang, Coordinator of the GIZ Textile Cluster in Bangladesh, for being us with here today this morning. This is indeed a very unique platform for continuing exchange of lessons learned, good practices, and partnerships in relation to sustainable apparel industry in Bangladesh. We have had a good many of these convenings, and I think what is important is that there is continuity and there is this active exchange and sharing, because what is happening in Bangladesh and what is happening in the apparel industry in Bangladesh is first-class change, is an ambition for first-class sustainable change. And that requires the participation and the inputs of all of you. Because in many ways, it is you in this room here today that have helped to contribute to this industry in the way that it is today. So this gathering is particularly valuable, and it's particularly valuable at this point of time when we are so much looking for the changes, we are so much looking how Bangladesh can continue to grow, not only in the garment industry, but also in other industries. The ambition is to diversify, the ambition is to deepen, the ambition is to bring other industries to a similar situation that the garment and the textile industry is. So in many ways, the lessons learned and the discussions that are happening here today will help propel also other industrial sectors to understand better issues around decent work, issues around circularity, issues around sustainability going forwards. The importance of creating safe and dignified working conditions for all workers, in our view as ILO, is of course paramount. That's why we talk and proudly present and proudly are part of these processes, because we believe in decent work. We believe that Bangladesh can, as it grows, also provide dignified, good quality jobs for all Bangladeshis, men and women. And we believe that what has happened in the garment industry and what's ongoing in terms of labor reforms will also help other industries to achieve similar situation and similar opportunities of creating the type of workplaces and the type of competitiveness that Bangladesh can be proud of. And lastly, it is really remarkable, the changes that have happened in the last 10 to 12 years. There's no doubt that more stories should be told about the positive changes that are happening. And while there are these positive changes, we all recognize that there continues to be challenges and that there continues to be efforts for continually improve the conditions of work, but also the issues around environmental sustainability. And that's why we are here today. It is to exchange, it is to discuss, it is to further commit, and it is to ideate together on how Bangladesh can truly live to its expectations and to its potential. With that, I will have the pleasure of facilitating another panel later on, so I'll reserve some of the pointers for that. But with that, I thank you all for being here. I thank the trade unions for being here. I thank the government officials for being here. I thank the buyers and buying organizations being here. I thank the developmental partners, particularly the government of Japan, the European Union, the GIZ colleagues and others for being here today. Let's continue to talk together, let's continue to share together, and let's continue to do this together. Thank you so much, Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Tuomo Pohjoinen. At this point, I now request Mr. Warner Lan, the coordinator of the GIZ Textile Cluster Bangladesh, to kindly share his speech. Mr. Warner Lan.
Dear esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, it is my honor to address the Sustainable Apparel Forum on behalf of the German Development Corporation, or more specific, in particular, the Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, in short, GIZ. I think you know all of us under this abbreviation, GIZ. Our commitment to sustainable development and international cooperation with Bangladesh for a future worth living is the top priority of the German government. And our main commissioning party, the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development. So, good morning. And I think it is a good morning seeing all of you here attending the 5th edition of the Sustainability Apparel Forum. This demonstrates that sustainability is important to you, and you are willing to participate in the challenge that lies ahead. This challenge is a tremendous task, as nothing less than the future of our planet depends on how our generation is willing to unlock the potential we actually possess. To be able to promote business without sacrificing our children's and grandchildren's future, we should rethink socio-economic practices. And allow me, as a grandfather of soon, very soon, 7, I know what my individual responsibility is. I'm aware of my tasks. Of course, I'm aware of the responsibility of my teams, and we are really convicted, or should I say, committed to work for the better future. The aim of this event is to discuss how an alternative development cooperation can look like. A cooperation which deals with alternative models for economic development beyond growth as the one and only driver. The transition to a sustainable future requires a shift and focus towards alternative models of economic development that go beyond traditional growth paradigms. This includes discussion on green skills for transition to a sustainable future, such as renewable energies, which is also connected to market access. If you think about European regulation, carbon border tax, it will affect the business. For the past 7 years, I've had the pleasure to call Bangladesh my second home. And I've witnessed a tremendous development in many areas. Since my first visit to Bangladesh in 1989 as a buyer, the country has proven change is possible. There were only a few factories then, and they certainly looked very different from today's impressive state-of-the-art ones producing for the world. But this progress came at a price. It's the same price Europe paid when industrialization started there. With that knowledge, it is our mutual responsibility to support a global movement that is fully committed to sustainability and circularity by employing the best technologies and innovations available. Those technologies depend on well-trained and educated staff, especially in the technical and vocational education, and that's where our expertise and experience will assist, providing the necessary skills to tackle the green transition. Looking at the topic of climate change, we must ultimately understand that negative consequences can only be stopped through the global transformation of the economies and lifestyles that addresses also the consumer. Corresponding goals have already been anchored in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Climate Agreement. This underscores the urgency for sustainable economic transition towards a circular economy on a global scale. The cooperation for sustainable transformation is depending on the dialogue between decision makers from politics, academia, business and civil society, contributing thereby to a common understanding of economic development that is both environmentally friendly and social sustainable. Let me give you, I think, a very good example, and exactly the group of panelists sitting here to my left are deeply involved into this example. I'm talking about the pilot of an employment injury scheme for Bangladesh's ready-made garment industry, covering more than 4 million workers, contributing to the export. It was a joint effort. I remember very well when Salman F. Rahman 2 years ago inaugurated the pilot, and in cooperation with ILO, EU, the Netherlands, and more important, the private sector, buyers as well as manufacturers. And we had the honor to orchestrate together with ILO this approach, and I think this is one of the best outcomes of development cooperation between all stakeholders in the last years. In this case, work-related injuries, the pilot is able to provide payments for permanently disabled and the dependent of deceased workers. Germany's international cooperation and policy processes, such as the climate negotiations, strengthen and contribute to a sustainable transformation of the global economy. In Bangladesh, we continue our support to the government of Bangladesh and promote a just transition which considers both the people of Bangladesh and its environment. Finally, let me underscore the significance of gender equality. Within all our initiatives, gender equality is one crucial element. Without a just transition would not be complete. We are convinced that gender equality is needed to achieve our goals. In conclusion, the Sustainable Apparel Forum provides a vital platform for driving progress in sustainable apparel and contributing to a more sustainable and equitable future. I look forward to engaging in fruitful discussions today and collaborative efforts during this forum. Personally, I would like to thank Mostafiz for your, I must say, relentless engagement for a better future and being the mastermind behind this event. Thank you for your attention, and I'm eager to witness the meaningful outcomes that will emerge from our collective approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warner-Lan. I'm now delighted to call on stage His Excellency Mr. Charles Whitley, the Ambassador and the Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, to kindly share his speech.
Shubha Shakal, good morning, everybody. Honourable Advisor, dear colleagues, distinguished colleagues, and the incomparable Mostafiz, who, as Tuomo said, brings amazing energy to every event he's involved with. I can't believe it's a year since the last Sustainable Apparel Forum. This is my third Sustainable Apparel Forum. I'm just waiting for your indoor drone to appear, Mostafis, to take shots of us from above. That's one of your classic innovations. But it's a great pleasure to be here again as European Union. I think it's been a tricky year for many of you in terms of exports to the European Union compared to the year before. Several reasons for that, not least the Russian aggression in Ukraine. But let's hope this year brings something better for everybody. And as you know, we're the largest market for Bangladesh garments in the European Union, and we're deeply interested in promoting sustainable business practices, especially in the garment sector. And the apparel industry, as we all know, plays a crucial role in driving forward Bangladesh's economic development and its transition from least development country status to developing country and beyond, developed by 2041 is the key goal. And this sector represents almost 95% of Bangladesh's exports to the EU last year. But it's evident that the sector is also facing significant challenges, from decarbonization efforts, the circular economy challenges, maintaining international and labor standards and improving them, and navigating uncertain global supply chains. Not to mention also price squeezes in a very difficult economic environment. And we hear a lot of that from the industry, the difficulties of making ends meet in this challenging economic environment. These challenges are not limited, of course, to Bangladesh or Europe. Discussions on trade and environmental sustainability have intensified globally, particularly within the WTO, and was very happy to see the recent decision on the graduation for Bangladesh by the WTO. But progress is being made through all your efforts, including in addressing environmental issues such as plastic pollution and promoting the sustainable economy. Sustainability has become a global imperative affecting all players in the apparel industry. And Bangladesh's garment sector, as Tuomo mentioned, has made remarkable progress in recent years, particularly in safety and environmental standards. And the proliferation of green buildings and increased social and environmental awareness amongst suppliers is very encouraging. But it's also important that there be a green dividend for this responsible investment. While safety and labor rights have improved dramatically since the Rana Plaza collapse, there are problems still remaining, of course, and more work needs to be done, not least with an eye to accessing smoothly the GSP Plus that should happen after 2029 and the transition period that's happening in the EU-Bangladesh trading relationship. We have, as we all know, the EU-Bangladesh National Action Plan on the labour sector, a very detailed roadmap, and there's been much achievement on that front, more to come. And we're obviously following with the government, civil society, trade unions and others, the progress on reforming the Bangladesh Labour Act and the law governing the export processing zones. And we look forward to them aligning with international standards fully and to the full involvement of tripartite stakeholders. Implementation of the action plan will also prepare Bangladesh for the upcoming due diligence law that the EU is formulating, which will require companies to ensure social and environmental compliance in their supply chains. A very complex law and a very complex path towards adoption, as you'll have seen. But this directive is part of the EU agenda on sustainable development, a whole rash of legislation that's on its way to support corporate responsibility in EU companies' global supply chains. It will impose legal obligations on EU companies to take proactive measures to prevent harm, such as implementing risk management systems, conducting audits, and providing remedies for victims. It will provide common standards, and as we know, some of our member states already have due diligence provisions, and that will ensure that there isn't regulatory fragmentation and that you, as suppliers and buyers and actors in the EU market, will have certainty on this front across the EU market. Negotiations on the law are reaching the finishing line. It's not been without its turbulence, and EU institutions are working to find a consensus on the law, particularly with regard to civil liability of companies. It should be formally adopted before or immediately after the European elections in June, paving the way for a new era of corporate due diligence. I wanted to finish by saying a few words on something I'm absolutely not an expert on, but I'm interested in, and I think there are many more people qualified to speak about this in the room, but it's ethical consumption and knowing the consumer in Europe. And it's a very interesting picture. I was looking at recent academic studies on ethical consumption and consumer patterns in the European market. And I think one of the things to bear in mind, as I've mentioned, as we all know, is the economic outlook. And in a recent survey, it showed that 21% of EU citizens are deemed to be at risk of poverty and social exclusion, 21%. So that is something to factor in when you look at the EU market, and hopefully that picture will improve. But in this context of hard-pressed economic times, what is the appetite for ethical consumption? Looking at a Eurobarometer survey, this is a regular survey that's done of EU citizens on different issues, it found that a large majority of people in all EU countries say that protecting the environment is important to them personally, and the most effective way to address environmental problems is to change the way we consume. So that was acknowledged as a desirable goal. But that said, there are quite interesting EU-funded studies that show the correlation between professing an interest in the environment and wanting to protect the environment, including as a consumer, comes up against the barrier of price. How much more is an ethical consumer willing to pay for better standards, better labor standards, better environmental compliance? And there was one study I landed upon, which was quite telling, and it was of Belgian consumers relating to fair trade coffee. And that found that the average price premium that Belgian consumers are willing to pay for fair trade coffee, which presumably costs a lot more to produce than ordinary coffee, was only 10%. So yes, they want fair trade coffee, but they also want a good deal in terms of the price they pay. So that's also food for thought. Final piece of food for thought, which is a little bit more encouraging, is that studies have shown that younger generations, though they might not be as well off as their older counterparts, are more likely to be ready to pay for products that are made in an environmentally and socially compliant way. So the market will change as these consumers become more dominant in the EU and other markets. So that is clearly the future. So thank you very much. I look forward to watching the rest of the Sustainable Apparel Forum, and thank you to Mostafis and ILO for all the work they're doing, government, civil society, trade unions on this front. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to call our chief guest of the event, who is one of the most successful businessmen of our nation, who has pioneered the pharmaceutical and other industries. He's an honorable member of the parliament and also the private industry and investment advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Mr. Salman F. Rahman MP.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Mustafizzuddin, CEO and founder and CEO of the Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, His Excellency Mr. Charles Whiteley, Ambassador and Head of Delegation of the EU to Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Tomo Potenin, Country Director, ILO Country Office in Bangladesh, Mr. Werner Lanz, Coordinator of the GIZ Textile Cluster in Bangladesh, participants, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be again in one of the Sustainable Apparel Forums, which has been organized by the Bangladesh Apparel Exchange. And I would like to congratulate again Mustafis and the Bangladesh Apparel Exchange and all his team members and the people with whom he is cooperating for organizing this event. As we have heard, he is very much committed to branding Bangladesh, not only within Bangladesh, but internationally. And I would like to again thank you and congratulate you for your efforts. I think the Sustainable Apparel Forum today, you will be having, as we have heard, a day-long event, and you will be discussing many important aspects. I would like to touch on a few of the issues which I feel are very, very important. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, as has been acknowledged, in the last 10 years, Bangladesh has made a tremendous amount of progress in improving the conditions in its garment and apparel industry. And I will not go into details of those. I think that is well known to everybody. However, what I would like to mention is flag 2 or 3 issues. One is there is going to be in the Bangladesh apparel industry major change is coming. And that is, as you know, the Bangladesh's apparel exports, 90% is cotton or cotton blends. And 15% or even less of the world market is actually cotton. The rest is man-made fabric. And Bangladesh apparel industry is absolutely, has a very, very minuscule presence in the man-made fiber market. But that is changing. We are now seeing that a lot of companies are, this market was dominated by China. But we are now seeing that there is a major change taking place. A lot of companies are now investing in man-made fabric and apparels made of man-made fabric. And I feel that many studies have been done, and a recent study shows that this export will, the man-made fabric export will actually overtake the cotton exports. And that makes sense because the global market for man-made fabric is much, much more than that for cotton fabrics. Why I am flagging this is because once that happens, then again a new issue is going to be raised regarding sustainability. At the moment, we have all been concentrating on sustainability in the garment industry, but it relates to cotton fabrics. When man-made fabric comes in, that will create a new dimension. Again, question of circularity will come up, sustainability will come up. So that's something I'm just flagging, since all of you are experts in this room, is something which you may want to discuss during your deliberations today. On the circularity, where we have already, in Bangladesh, we are now seeing that there is a huge amount of recycling of the pre-production waste which takes place in Bangladesh. A lot of investment has been made in recycling of that, and a lot of work is being done. And we are now finding that a lot of the buyers are insisting that recycled yarn be used in the manufacture of fabric, and that is now happening. And I'm very pleased to note that the Bangladeshi private sector, as well as there are a lot of foreign investors who have come and invested in this sector. However, there is also a huge potential in Bangladesh for recycling post-production waste. This is the garments which are being sold worldwide. And in fact, only yesterday somebody was telling me that of all the garments that are sold worldwide, which is a billion plus garments, only 1% is recycled. So most of the old clothes which the consumers throw away is used for landfill, and so that's not being recycled. And the idea was that these used clothes be brought to Bangladesh, because there's a huge, you have to sort, before you can recycle them, you have to sort them into various, the ones which are cotton, which colors, which are different fabrics, and then you should be able to recycling them. This has started, Japan has already started doing this in Bangladesh. There are certain companies which have started. There are certain challenges, there are certain issues which need to be solved. How these used clothes will be imported, what HS code they will be imported under, they have to be destroyed first. Those issues are, the government is looking at all of that. We are very keen that if Bangladesh can also become a central hub for recycling not only pre-production waste, but also post-production waste. However, the EU has decided that all post-production waste will be recycled within the EU. I don't know how practical that is. Many experts feel that that would be very difficult to do because this is going to be very, very labor intensive. However, I think the EU is looking at this. They are still not, the laws have still not come out. I'm told that people are talking to them, experts are talking to them. But as far as the United States is concerned, Japan is concerned, and other developed countries are concerned, they are quite happy with post-production waste being exported and sent to countries like Bangladesh for recycling. Another issue that was mentioned, and again I'd like to flag this, is solar energy. And you know, Bangladesh is now moving forward. We are going, government is putting a lot of emphasis on solar energy. Already over 10,000 megawatt solar LOIs has been issued by the government. That many PPAs have not been signed as yet, but the LOIs are there and it's progressing. But however, worldwide, the solar industry, another issue which has been raised is the waste, industrial waste, which is being created by solar panels. Because as you know, solar panels have a life. And once that is over, what do you do with the solar panels? That again has now become a big issue. So while we talk about protecting the environment, as we move forward, we are facing new and newer challenges. So I think, again, because in this room there's so many experts, I'm just flagging few, just like His Excellency EU Ambassador said there are some things, food for thought. I thought I would also leave you with some food for thought, areas where I think you could discuss further. As far as the labor rights are concerned, as was mentioned, there is a very detailed roadmap which the Bangladesh government jointly with ILO and the EU have agreed to, and that roadmap is being, we are now following that, and a lot of progress has been made, which has been acknowledged, and I can assure everybody that the government is committed to fulfilling its obligations under the roadmap which has been agreed. As regards to the issues which was a very, very important and vital issue was raised also by His Excellency the EU Ambassador, was regarding prices. I think that's very, very important. There are many brands represented today in this room, and our industry, the feedback I receive from industry is that there's a huge pressure on prices. And I think we are going through very, very challenging times. And while the statistic mentioned by Charles was that nearly 22% of Europe themselves will be facing difficulties. But in spite of that, I think a fine balance needs to be found so that it's a kind of a win-win situation for both the suppliers and the consumers. And that is something also, I think that study was a very important study that everybody is concerned about sustainability, everybody is concerned about the environment, but how much is someone, at least the consumer, is willing to pay extra for a sustainable product. And as you saw, that's not very much. And so that again is an issue which needs to be faced and resolved. The other thing on a larger scale, on a global scale, as you know, Bangladesh is one of the countries which will be most affected by climate change. And Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been a champion for climate change and climate adaptation. In all of the COPs which she has attended, she has very, very passionately advocated for the environment. And again, I would just like to say that although there is a lot of awareness of how the environment is important for protecting and preserving our planet, this awareness is there. Exactly how we are damaging the planet, that is also known. What we need to do to solve this problem is also known. We've identified that also. But I must say, unfortunately, globally, especially, I don't think the global political will is there to really do things about it. I think there's a lot of talk going on, but very little action. And as far as countries like Bangladesh is concerned, it is extremely frustrating for us. We see that, and since we are going to be at the receiving end of climate change. So there again, I would urge all of you in this room that through your own efforts, you can impress upon and urge your respective political leadership that rather than just talking, it's about time that we start also taking some action in this respect. Again, other thing which I would like to flag before ending is that unfortunately we are finding that we are in a world where there is a lot of conflicts going on. And this is unfortunately affecting every person in the globe. The war in Ukraine and between Ukraine and Russia has led to sanctions and counter-sanctions and all of that, where we are absolutely not involved in that conflict in any way or in that dispute in any way, but are definitely affected gravely by that dispute. We are now seeing a serious humanitarian crisis emerging in the Middle East, and there again, it is going to have a global effect on all of us. So again, I think as citizens of the world, we should all unite to try to impress upon our leadership that the conflicts should always be resolved, as Honorable Prime Minister says, through dialogue and through discussions, and wars are never going to be a solution. So I would again welcome all the foreign delegates and participants who have come for this event to Bangladesh. If this is your first visit, then I hope this is going to be the first of many visits. And for those of you who have been here many times, again, a very warm welcome. I hope you have a very successful one-day deliberation today and a very, very successful forum where at the end of today, I hope you can come with recommendations for all the issues which you have all identified, which will be discussed today. Again, a very warm welcome to Bangladesh. And again, Mustafiz, thank you for organizing this event, and thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to say a few words. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever.
Thank you very much, sir. I request our chief guest and our honorable guest to please remain on the stage. We shall be taking a group photo of the session. In order to take the group photo, I humbly request also on the stage Mr. Mohiuddin Rubil, Director, BGMEA and Additional Managing Director, Denim Export Limited, and the MD of Bangladesh Apparel Exchange, Mr. Mohiuddin Rubil. Thank you very much. That was the opening session, ladies and gentlemen. We shall now embark for a tea break, but as we are in a very tight schedule, I request all of you to please kindly maintain the time. We shall be off for 15 minutes and please be back on this hall. We shall be starting our next session. I would like to apprise you that we have some booths made outside the hall room. You may go around and have a look at it. It's a thematic areas to celebrate achievement by the enterprises that's been done by the Better Work Bangladesh. Dear guests, those who have stepped outside to get your tea and coffee, I humbly request you to please bring it with you inside the hall room. We are really in a tight schedule. But at the same time, I do not want to interfere you with your coffee and tea. I just would like to let you know that we shall be starting the event by 10:45. Ladies and gentlemen, just a humble reminder, 1 more minute to go for the next session. Those who are still outside are requested to join.
I think Sustainable Apparel Forum is a big forum that is doing advocacy for the sustainability in the RMG supply chain. And by this, I think the people in the industry, all the stakeholders are getting to know the idea of sustainability, the benefit of sustainability, and why Bangladesh must go for more sustainable production of RMG products.
I think it's great the Apparel Forum is bringing so many different people together today. It's bringing together brands, it's bringing together exporters, diplomatic community, business, government. So all of these people have a stake in the sustainable future.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who are still enjoying your tea and coffee are requested to please come inside and join the session. We shall be embarking for our first plenary session. As I earlier mentioned, that our time for the tea break is till 10:45, and the time has hit the clock. We are about to start our next session.
I'm by working as a lawyer. I work as a friend of the legal party USA. I'm the senior executive officer. Plus, my daughter, she's also in the education. What's her Arla? Nabila. Oh, Arla. Oh, লিখতে বলো Nabila is one. Husband wife. Good. Anis bhai. Anis bhai, আমি সিয়াতে What is this long story? My son says working on তবে আন্টি নাবিল আপু থেকে আপনি অনেক বেশি
Ladies and gentlemen, our first plenary session is on Bangladesh Apparel Sector 2024, Achievement and Global Competitiveness, Learning and Opportunities. So as I mentioned that we are actually running out of time for our next session, and we are also in a very tight schedule. We need to finish everything within time. I request all of you for your cooperation and for your patience. Those who are still standing or outside the hall room are please requested to please come inside, sit down, and join the session. Our first session is deemed to be very interactive communication, I believe, and very enlightening session as well. And the title is Vision Bangladesh 2024 and Beyond, Sustaining Achievements and Competitiveness. I know many of you are outside the hall room, and because of that, we are unable to start our event. I have been humbly requesting all of you to please kindly settle down and get your tea and coffee inside the hall room. We are really behind time and we need to start the session. Your cooperation and patience is highly required. Thank you. আমি মাত্রই বললাম তাকে বলবো স্টিল বাংলাদেশ Acha, I called you on WhatsApp. বেশ কয়েকবার। No. আমারটা 97. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just on time. We shall be starting our session now. Our session on